phone the whole time. Hello, you are my first spectator today. Which country are you from? Hello. Netherlands. Okay, nice to meet you. So, after 12 games in the match between Adolf Anderssen and Wilhelm Steinitz, score was equal 6-6. As I remember, according to reglement, he played till 8 victories of somebody. So all of games in this match surprisingly was decisive. You set up the system. Yes, I improved it, so I made the picture bigger. Is it everything okay or any problem? Is it suit for everybody or any questions? Any desires? Looks great. Okay. Okay, so all of games was decisive in this match. Surprisingly, it's even incredible in such a good level. So no draws in 12 games. So 6-6. Both players has his their 6 victories. So and they are playing till 8 victories. And in game 13, Adolf Anderssen is white, Wilhelm Steinitz is black. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and surprisingly, Anderssen played bishop b5. In all games before, during this match, Anderssen played bishop c4, and after bishop c5, b4. Ivan's gambit, and he was very quite successful with white. So I don't know what was the reason to exchange to change opening in decisive stage of match, but okay, he did. He played bishop b5, and very solid choice and very modern choice for Steinitz. I will put light on. So Wilhelm played knight f6. He wants to play Berlin defense. So after castle, knight takes e4, d4, knight d6, bishop c6, d takes c6, d takes e5, knight f5. So we could see this endgame in this match. But okay, Adolf Anderssen doesn't accept such invitation. He played d3, very modern approach. And now black has two alternatives. So d6 is possible, which Steinitz played. Bishop c5 is possible. And also there is a rare move, knight e7. This idea that take on e5, it's hardly good because c6, bishop is attacked, and if go with bishop, queen a5 is coming. But okay, knight takes e5 is not necessary. White has other good possibilities. So, but after d6, okay, now bishop takes c6. According to modern theory, it's strange decision, because usually white is waiting when black is playing a6. Only after this it's possible to take on c6. So, for example, castle is possible, and if a6, bishop takes c6 and d4. And this line is promising for white, because position is quite open, and surely castle for white is much more useful than a6 for black in this position. Okay, so a6 is dubious line according to theory, so black has other lines, so bishop e7 is more solid, or bishop d7 also possible. Why knight cannot take her? Why knight? Sorry. Which knight? What do you mean? I don't understand. Teacher is not related to the class, but Leonid Stein? Okay, Leonid Stein, of course, if there is desire to see some games of Leonid Stein, I can prepare them. Of course, I need only write for myself that there is such an interest. Just a moment, please. So, Stein. Twitch. Okay, so after castle, usually black not playing, using notation. Okay, but any problem with notation for you? So. Here after d4, knight takes e4. Okay, knight takes e4 is possible, but according to theory, it's quite risky. Queen e2, for example. And now, okay, what to do? If d5, I will take with knight. If f5, I will take with pawn. Okay, there is some theory after d5, but according to my knowledge, white is better. So a6, it's dubious move according to modern theory. Strong players usually plays bishop e7 or bishop d7. So bishop e7 is planned to prepare a castle. Bishop d7 idea is to prepare g6, for example, if c3, g6, and bishop g7. Okay, but bishop takes c6, surely it's not a good choice, because white losing tempo. So without a6, white is giving his bishop, so this is not a healthy idea. B takes c6, h3. Another move which hardly necessary, but it's useful. So somewhere g4 is prepared. Okay, nice. Nice to read it for me, so I'm trying to show my best. So h3, of course, many alternatives. Knight c3, knight bd2 is possible, castle also. But okay, h3. So white playing opening in very modest style, and black has no problem at all. g6, very logical. So bishop e7 and castle, it's possible. So in style of Morphy, for example, if we imagine that Morphy is playing with black, we could expect bishop e7 and castle, because very quick development was very important part of games of Morphy. But Steinitz looks like more strategical player than Morphy, and he's thinking about future. So in this close position, he decides that bishop on g7 will be more active than on e7. So he played g6. If I would win against Steinitz, okay, yeah, I can have any fantasies about this, but unfortunately we cannot check, so it's pretty problematic to organize my match against Steinitz to check who from us is stronger. Okay, so there is another question, if c4 is good or bad here. Okay, it's playable, but I don't think that white has any advantage. For example, black can play c5 to stop d4 at all. For example, knight c3, bishop e7. Now I don't think that bishop is more active on g7. So bishop e7 and then castle. If a3, a5, so black will try not allow b4. And in future, black can consider idea to play knight d7, knight f8, knight e6, or knight d7, knight b8, knight c6. But okay, firstly, it's necessary to finish development with castle and then to think about different maneuvers. So, okay, c4 is possible, but it doesn't bring any advantage for white. So, much more logical if you like position with c4 to play c4 here without bishop takes c6. And for example, if bishop e7, h3 is possible, castle, bishop e3. This is standard plan. Bishop e3 is idea of bishop e3 is not allow knight d4. Idea of h3 is not allow bishop g4 or knight g4. And then knight c3 is coming, and white has quite promising position. d4 to stop c5. Now d4. Okay, now d4 without castle. Okay, it's possible, but okay, if compare with variation after castle a6, black has one extra tempo. And for example, even knight takes e4 is possible to consider, queen e4, 2 f5, d takes d5, and this position is pretty unclear. For example, if castle, bishop c5 already is coming, then castle, somewhere black can think about a5 and bishop a6. Okay, so also e takes d4 is possible, and of course this position is not same like to have after castle and a6. So maybe white is not worse, but after queen takes d4, but hardly they are fighting for advantage here. Okay, so d takes c6. h3. So g6, deep positional plan. For modern chess is quite standard, of course, but for this time it shows how deep Steinitz have understood the strategy of closed position, and he shows some ideas typical for King's Indian in future. So knight c3, bishop g7, castle, castle, bishop g5. I don't know what was reason to provoke h6. Usually in such type of position h6 is useful move for black. So, bishop e3. Okay. So I don't know why not bishop e3 immediately. What is benefit for white to provoke h6? But okay. Anderssen played. Bishop h4 was possible, by the way, maybe was more logical, but question how strong it is. For example, g5, we can consider like possibility, and knight h5, black has good contraplay. bishop h2, for example. Now white has knight takes e5 threat. So, for example, if f5, knight takes e5 is possible. But okay, black can do something. For example, knight f4, and this position looks like quite good for black. So bishop e3 plays under Adolf. Thanks for subscription. So bishop e3 looks like he wants to play d4 probably, but now Steinitz played c5, not allows d4. Of course, other move was possible. For example, rook e8 was possible as well to stop d4. But okay, so Steinitz understands that probably black in future can prepare knight somewhere and f5. And for f5 plan, rook is better on f8, not on e8. Yes, knight h5, f5 is the standard plan. Or knight somewhere, not necessarily on h5, probably h7 or e8 or d7. So, because, for example, if to play here, okay, first of all, white has contraplay with d4. So at the moment, knight h5, d4 is possible, and this is hardly very good for black. For example, e takes d4, bishop takes d4. But I want to explain that knight on h5 is not always useful. For example, white is doing some pass, and black if plays f5, e takes f5 is possible. And for example, if image that knight is somewhere on h7, d7, e8, black can take with pawn. But with knight on h5, white has idea knight takes e5, and black is losing the pawn. And if bishop f5, g4 is possible. Okay, maybe black has compensation, but not sure is that this is enough. So okay, this is something sharp. Okay, maybe e4 is possible, but I don't know. Is it good for black at all? For example, this, knight d2. Looks like white's threats are more dangerous. So not always knight is good on h5. Okay, but c5 it's certainly very good move. So black stops d4. From which country? I don't know Flux very well. So can you explain what is this country? So Albania. Nice to meet you. I remember I played against Albanian player Franz Ashiku. Probably you know him personally. How was my day today? Okay, quite a good day. So, what exactly is interesting for you? Okay, so c5 was played and d4 is stopped. And black, if white not doing nothing, black can think about knight somewhere and f5. So Anderssen played rook b1. So he looks like he's preparing b4. Of course, white has other plans. For example, knight d2 looks logical to prepare f4. For example, if knight h7, white can play f4. Playable position. But okay, rook b1 played Anderssen, and of course, totally possible for black was a5 to stop also b4. Because if white plays a3, okay, black can just wait and exchange pawns a7, a2 in favor of black. Also, black can consider a4 to stop these activities in a queen's flank. But Steinitz doesn't consider b4 like threat for him, and he played knight e8. It's also healthy choice. And b4 played Adolf. Of course, white could consider other moves. For example, if you want to ask me about possible alternatives, okay, what can I propose? So knight d2 is logical idea. If f5 to take, and if pawn takes f4, totally playable position for white. Also possible to play queen d2, attack pawn h6. If king h7, now play knight h2 with same idea. So if f5, take on f5, and if pawn takes f4, if bishop takes, white has choice. f4 is possible as well, but also possible, not hardly with f4. For example, playing b3 here, but f4 it's pretty logical. So this is normal game. So, but but Anderssen just playing his plan. So b4, c takes b4, rook takes b4, c5 played Anderssen. So b4 played Anderssen, c5 played Steinitz. Not totally obvious decision for me because f5 was logical immediately, but after f5, black at least need to calculate variations. I mean, after d4. Idea is if f takes e4, knight d takes e5. And if e takes f3, queen d5 check, and then queen takes a8. Also, probably this line is very promising for white, for black. After king h7, queen takes, bishop takes e5, black has pawn against exchange and very good attacking chances. So probably d4 is objectively dubious for white. And but okay, after f takes e4, also there are other opportunities. For example, d5 is possible to consider. And playing against computer, no. I prefer to play against human player. So I don't like to play against computer. f3. When f3? Okay, now d5, knight d4 is possible with idea knight c6. Okay, so f takes e4 is stronger, but f4. f4 is possible, it's very logical, but I have doubt about d takes e5, what is this? But okay, maybe it's very dangerous for white, for example, takes, queen d5, king h7, queen takes, rook takes f3 is coming, g takes f3 is something like queen g5, so it looks like something terrible for white, because king h2 not possible, bishop takes a5, if king h1, bishop takes h3, if rook g1, even this, and black is winning, because if rook g1, bishop g2, and bishop takes e5, and mate. Okay, this is not forced in line, but okay, so f4 is strong. If d takes e5 doesn't work, it looks like doesn't work. So yes, so bishop c1 is only move, but this looks like good for black should be, but also okay, white has some contraplay. So after e takes d4, rook takes d4. Idea e5, if bishop takes d4, queen takes d4, then bishop b2 is coming, so white has some compensation for exchange. So okay, position is sharp. But after f takes e4, also knight takes e4 is possible to consider. E takes d. Why? Not queen e7. Here queen e7. Well, but white can take and play knight d5, queen f7, rook, bishop b2 maybe. Okay, bishop b2 c6 is possible also. Okay, maybe even this is not clear. White has compensation. 2 pawns. Okay, maybe not enough. But okay, also rook c4 is totally possible to prepare bishop a3, so this is not clear. Okay, so f takes e4, knight takes e4, and what is this? Black has two bishops in open position, but white pieces are quite active, so I'm not sure is it black is better here. I think even I would prefer white if I have choice. So okay, f5 was possible, but queen f6. Queen f6. This queen f6, queen d5. Sorry. Okay, I am fine, thank you. So, but I need to make break a little bit break. Just a moment. So I will take a little bit break and I will come back in some minutes. So I'm here again. Is it everything okay? Everybody can see me and hear me. Please confirm that everything is okay. Okay, I'm come back. So, okay, there are many questions. For example, now Bishop a6 looks like interesting alternative to attack this rook. So black wants to win exchange, but to give another bishop. For example, if rook e1, c5, and rook a4 is possible, bishop takes c3, rook takes a6, bishop takes e1, and now I'm not sure that white has enough compensation for the exchange. Also possible also to play e5 here. Thanks for subscription. This. So black has exchange up, but white has some threats. I don't know if enough for white or not, but at least it requires some calculation. So what can I say shortly? So f5 was totally possible, but Steinitz played c5, also very logical choice, because he stopped at idea d4 either, and black have a weak square on d5, but it's not a big problem in this position, because if image that white knight will go to d5 somewhere, black can change this knight with knight f6 or knight c7, and this c5 played with Stampy, so white needs to lose time for move with rook, and black are already ready for f5, so black has a nice position. Rook a4. But now he played bishop d7. Okay, I don't know. f5 immediately was possible as well. I don't know why Steinitz played bishop d7. Okay, but it's totally possible move too. So f5 was possible. No problem. But okay, bishop d7, nothing wrong. But rook a3 played Adolf. In my opinion, was logical to play rook a6 to check if black agree for draw after bishop c8, rook a4. Also now rook a3 probably is possible, not allow bishop d7 with temp. So rook a6 looks like more logical move in my opinion, because, for example, if f5, also now white cannot play knight d5 because black has this idea, bishop b5. White is losing exchange. Also, probably there is some compensation because knight on d5 is very strong, so it's not totally clear. Or even king takes f1 to have knight d7, knight d5 better protected. So rook a6 was move which deserved some attention, but Adolf played rook a3 and finally f5. So very standard move for King's Indian. But white also has some ideas. Queen's flank. Queen b1 played Steinitz. Another logical move was knight d5. For example, if f4, bishop d2, and bishop a5 is coming. But I think that after knight d5, Steinitz was planned to play knight c7 with quite comfortable position. Simple idea to exchange strong knight. So queen b1 played Anderssen, and now king h8 played Steinitz. I'm not totally sure about this move, so it looks like white wants to play queen b7, so to prepare for queen b7 looks logical to play rook f7. And now queen b7, bishop e6. It's totally harmless for black. Also, it's possible to consider direct d takes e4, f takes e4, bishop takes h3. So black is winning pawn. And, but maybe white has some compensation, who knows, after knight d5, for example. Rook f3. Okay, rook f3, g takes f3. It's at least no direct mate, although it's probably dangerous for white. So it's also was possible, but okay. So probably Steinitz decides that white has compensation here, and he played king h8. But king h8 is a strange choice for me because he allows queen b7. So if not takes the pawn immediately, in my opinion, rook f7 was like the most logical move and very standard for King's Indian, rook f7 and prepare bishop f8 also. Like for example in this line, I will show you one line from King's Indian. Hi, thank you to sending, guys. I mean this line. Okay, for example, e4 d6, d4 g6, c4 bishop g7, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3 castle, bishop e2 e5, castle knight c6, d5 knight e7, for example knight e1, knight d7, knight d3 f5, bishop d2 knight f6, f3 f4, c5 g5, rook c1, knight g6, takes, knight b5, rook f7. So it's quite typical plan. And then bishop f8, rook g7, and black is preparing g4. So this idea black utilized in many different lines of King's Indian. But okay, so this is modern theory. For example, this position was played in the match between Pulugaevsky and Tal in 1980. So of course, it's why put bishop on f8? Firstly, for to defend pawn d6, and secondly to free g7 square for rook, because after bishop f8, black wants to play rook g7 and then push g4, so rook on g7 can be useful for attack. So this is very standard. So queen c2 also, this idea knight c7, queen b6 check is harmless because knight f2, so knight e8, a4. So there's a lot of theory. If somebody is interested with this line, I recommend to see two games. My game against Cheparino and Polugaevsky Tal. Okay, so I will write Ivanchuk Cheparino. So rook f7, it's very strange. It's very standard idea for King's India. Okay, let's come back to our heroes. So Steinitz played king h8, quite strange move in my opinion. Queen b7, natural. a5. And now black, after a5, black are much weaker in queen's flank than with pawn on a7, because white has ideas to utilize b6 square. So rook b1, very logical. Again, we see that positionally white is quite good, but a4. Played Steinitz. Queen d5. Queen d5, very, very strange move. So it's very difficult to understand what was logic of Adolf. So how to consider such a move? White has many ideas. But okay, probably Adolf just didn't understand what to do. Okay, the most natural move, knight d5, of course. Knight d5. Okay, I'm not sure that I would play this, but knight d5 is the move which I would consider in the first queue. In second queue, queen b6 can be considered with idea to exchange queens. It's useful against potential king's Indian attack after f4 g5, I mean, so queen b6 is logical. Knight d5 is logical. Maybe rook b6 is logical as well. Idea to make some pressure on d6, not allow black to play with knight and to prepare knight b5, so also logical. Yes, rook on a3, it's a little bit, has no moves at the moment, but okay, rook is attacking pawn a4 in some variation, and after knight from c3 will go somewhere to b5 or d5, rook will have c3 square, so I don't see big reason for white to worry about this rook. So, but queen d5 is very strange move because, okay, maybe I don't understand something, but because I don't understand this move, I will put exclamation, a question mark. So it's very strange move for me. But okay, maybe I'm too strong against this move. Maybe there is idea rook b7, and this idea maybe not so stupid. Who knows? So okay, maybe I will change. So I will put this dubious. Not easy, but okay. But we are trying to understand, and not easy, but quite interesting, at least for me. So, Queen c8, also strange move. Not typical for King's Indian, because usually black wants to prepare attack. Yes, rook b7, bishop c5, but okay, black has rook a6, for example, is possible. Okay, what else? Let me think about. Also, rook f6 is logical to prepare knight c7. Why not? Or to prepare bishop e6. But okay, rook b7. Not so simple, probably. If bishop e6, white has queen c6. If bishop c8 is possible. This idea, if rook takes g7, black has bishop e6. But okay, this is maybe it doesn't work. Bishop takes h6, and rook f7 also. Queen somewhere. Queen c6, knight g5 also there is threat. So okay, maybe queen d5 is not so bad at all. Yes, of course, black can close the position with f4, but maybe, okay, bishop takes c5, knight takes e5, difficult to believe that it can be good for white, but okay, so we can check. Rook a5 not possible because bishop b6, so d takes c5 is oddly moved, knight takes e5. And if bishop takes, queen takes e5, and then white will take third pawn, and position is pretty unclear. So probably this was idea of Anderssen. So this is idea of queen d5. Okay, but I have feeling that queen d5 is something wrong, but so now I see it's not so easy. Maybe rook a6. Rook a6 is interesting move because I want to prepare knight c7. Yes, now after rook a6, after f4, so queen d5, after f4, bishop c5, knight c7 doesn't work because queen takes d6 simply, and black cannot do anything. If rook a6, at least queen e7 is possible, but rook a6 is idea, so now if bishop takes c5, I have knight c7. Okay, maybe d takes c5 as well is possible, because knight takes e5. What is this? Okay, at least possible to take and play queen f6, and this idea of queen takes c5, rook c6, so probably. Hola. Instead of queen d5, okay, so what is problem with knight d5, for example? It's very natural move. Okay, knight b6 not threat at the moment because rook b8, but okay, so just normal move. Okay, but now, okay, rook a6 probably was the best, and what to do with white, because knight c7 looks like quite unpleasant threat. So queen c4 is possible, of course, but knight c7, and now bishop e6, there is threat. Okay, maybe rook b7 is possible if bishop e6, knight d5 somehow. Maybe this is not so clear. But anyway, looks like black is better because white underpin. So, for example, just rook a8, and this pin looks like quite unpleasant for white. Rook takes c7 not possible because bishop d5. Rook takes a4 not possible as well because black just will take something. Also, maybe there is some contraplay. Who knows? For example, this rook d7. Queen e8 also. Queen a7, rook f7. And rook takes, queen takes, black, queen b8, queen f8. And this black is better. So probably rook a6 was a good idea. But okay, so it's not so simple, but I have feelings that black should be better after rook a6. So probably rook a6 was the best. Queen c8 played Steinitz. A little bit strange, because now white also have some ideas with knight h4. So black has no control under h4 square anymore. Rook b6, active move, but okay, so Anderssen logically trying to play in the queen's flank. It's very standard, but and also he preventing bishop c6. But okay, it's for example, knight h4 was probably interesting. King h7, it's only logical move, and now just take. G takes, and to play f4. What is this? Bishop c6, for example, queen c4, bishop f6. Rook g8, instead queen c8. But, okay, just a moment. Question. Rook g8. Okay, but black has no threats, so white can play rook b7 immediately. With idea rook takes d7 already. Rook g8 I don't like. Rook a6 I have feelings that was the best. But after queen c8, okay, knight h4 is unclear. It's interesting, but unclear. So bishop f6 is coming. But knight is protected by queen, so f takes e5 is possible. So If bishop takes e5, rook f1 even possible to consider. Maybe d4 is possible as well. So this is a complicated position. Bishop e6 after knight h4, bishop e6, no, it's not possible because I will just take. If king h7 I take with check, if king g8, knight e7, so no, bishop e6 is blunder. So king h7, it's only move. So okay, another totally logical move from white was to play queen b7 just to check if black agree for draw, because exchange queens, black has two bishops advantage, but this is not the position when two bishops are very strong, because at the moment bishop on g7 is quite passive. Okay, he can be strong in future, but not now yet. So I have no feeling that black has advantage here after queen b7. So queen b7 was logical move, but okay, rook b6 it's logical as well, because he preparing queen c6 after bishop e6, so it's at least possible. Rook a7 played Steinitz. And king h2. So what is the logic of king h2? I try to understand, because position is interesting. White has many possibilities. Unfortunately, knight b5 is not possible, because black can take and play knight c7, and white is losing exchange. So positionally, knight b5 would be excellent for white, but tactically it doesn't work. So alternatives. Okay, so knight h4 again was possible. Same idea. King h7. But now white has problem. After king h7, for example, there's this f4, black has queen d8 motif. So rook on b6 under attack, and knight on h4 under attack too. Maybe, and white is losing. So rook b7 here doesn't help, because after this, black has queen e1 check and winning. And then queen takes e3. So with rook on b6, knight h4 idea doesn't work anymore. Okay, so what else? King h2, okay, it looks like some kind of prophylactic against takes, and bishop h3, something like this, but I want to understand if white has something more concrete. First of all, rook takes d6. I would try to consider. So knight takes d6, and now white even has choice. So queen takes d6 is natural, but also probably knight takes e5 is possible to consider. Of course, bishop takes c5 is bad, because rook a5. So queen takes d6. Is it everything okay? If nobody writes, I am worried if something wrong, probably with translation. So please, all fine. So rook d6 and queen d6 looks like alternative. So white has one pawn against exchange, and pawns c5 and e5 are attacked. So situation looks like interesting, at least. So what to do with black, I don't know. Also pawn g6 under attack. So black should play probably rook a6 or rook f6. Okay, if rook a6, I can take another pawn. So two pawns already against exchange, but there is problem. So f4, I cannot move this bishop. And after this, bishop under attack and bishop f8 is coming. So this is, looks like bad for white. So now we see weakness of rook on a3. So this idea doesn't work. So after rook a6, probably white should play. Aha, so this is bad because bishop e6 and again f4 is coming with same idea. So this idea doesn't work. But probably knight takes e5. It's more interesting to consider. At the moment, white is rook down, but there are many threats. So main threats are queen takes d6 or knight takes g6. So against rook, white has two pawns at the moment. Okay, maybe not enough. Rook f6 maybe is the best for black. And after bishop takes c5, rook a5 is coming. So not totally clear that white has enough compensation for material. Okay, so maybe rook takes d6 was too much. So knight h4, it's not so good. Yes, powerful, but not so powerful. So direct tactics doesn't work, unfortunately for white, unfortunately for black. So probably rook b6 was not the best. And rook a7, it's very good prophylactic move because black doesn't allow queen b7 idea anymore. So probably now queen b7 was the most logical idea from white. Okay, but rook b6, rook a7. So king h2 played Adolf. And Steinitz started f4. This is standard King's Indian attack. Bishop d2 played Adolf. Very natural, but maybe bishop c1 is also possible to consider with idea to prepare knight d2, knight c4. Of course, can be dangerous for white king, but okay, who knows? So maybe it's possible. Also, even f3 it's possible. If knight takes f3, bishop takes h3, so it's not easy for white at least. So bishop d2, g5. Black is ready to push g4, and if rook takes d6, black has same idea, take and rook a6. This is just, okay, maybe not losing. But I have a question, so another question. After rook a7, rook d6, rook a6, maybe queen e7, it's more interesting, instead of queen takes c5. My idea to provoke bishop on f6, but probably it's not so bad for black. So bishop f6, queen takes c5, f4. And if queen c8, rook takes c8, and bishop e7 is coming. So yes, it doesn't work. So rook a7, excellent defensive moves, and easy to miss such a move. And looks like black is better here. what to do? Okay, maybe f4 and rook e6. What do you mean? No, f4 and rook e6. What do you mean? No, I am thinking now after queen e7. So rook takes, knight takes, queen, rook a6, queen e7, and f4. F4 is also possible. Yes, because. But okay, f4 maybe position is playable for white after bishop d2. Bishop d2, bishop f6, not playable because queen is trapped. So f4, yes, f4 is possible. And if bishop c5, rook e6, yes, you are right. This doesn't work. So no, bishop h4. So white is losing this. Okay, but so what to do? I'm thinking that probably was reason for white totally change his plan. What I mean? I mean probably just take. Not every day. So e takes f5, g takes f5, and now queen c4. Probably this was the most solid idea for white, because but okay, so f4 is possible. After bishop d2, even bishop takes h3 is necessary to consider, and it can be dangerous attack. G takes h3, queen takes h3, and rook g8 is coming. Yes, it looks like dangerous for white. So this doesn't work. Okay, so what to do for white? So rook p6 certainly it's okay. Looks like mistake, but it wasn't obvious that to see rook a7 such a prophylactic move. So rook b6 looks like mistake objectively. So queen b7 or knight h4 was better. But okay, the question for me, what is the best in this position? I want to think and I want to understand this. So rook d6 doesn't work, knight b5 doesn't work, e takes f4, knight h4 doesn't work. So king h2 played Anderssen, queen c4. Queen c4, okay, but knight takes a4 is not a threat, because after knight takes a4, queen a8 is coming. So queen c4 looks like just passive move. Okay, it's possible, but not very logical. So, difficult choice for Adolf. Anyway, so black is better. Yes, but f4 g5 is coming. Okay, queen c4 was possible, I agree, probably it was even the best in this position, but it's... but after queen c4, f takes e4 is possible, and if d takes e4, bishop takes h3 is coming. If knight takes e4, bishop e6 is unpleasant, so queen c4 tactically probably not so good. Although maybe knight h4 now, but okay, it's not easy decision, but okay. Tricky. Because now if king h7, I will take on e4 with queen. This is my idea. Okay, but after queen c4, f4 is possible, and after bishop d2, even this can be dangerous for white. G takes h3, queen takes h3. So knight is attacked, so white should go with knight somewhere, and f3 is... Okay, knight e1 only move looks like. It's very dangerous for white. Knight f6. There are some ideas like this, even f3. It's okay. Maybe black is not winning here, but what software? Okay, chess base or what? What you mean? Chess base 11? What you mean? Yes, so this is already quite dangerous situation for whites, and so rook b6, rook a7, excellent move, and black has suddenly black has defended very well. So a type of position very strong. Very strongly remember me one of games from match Taimano White against Fischer Black. So Fischer used more or less same defensive methods successfully. And I know that Fischer was a big fan of games of Steinitz. And somebody knows what else is same between Fischer and Steinitz? It's question. At least I know three things which was same for Fischer and Steinitz. Okay, birthday, no. Birthday, okay. So I will explain. About birthday, firstly, I don't remember what was birthday of Wilhelm Steinitz, but it's very interesting that Fischer was born in 9 of March. Same, yes, 64, yes. Yes, both lived 64 years. This first. And also about birthday, I want to explain that I don't remember what is birthday of Steinitz, but birthday of Fischer was 9 of March. Same birthday like very famous, probably the most famous poet in Ukraine, Taras Grigorovich Shevchenko. Of course, different years. So Shevchenko was born in 1814 and Fischer was born in 1943, but in same days. In same days. And another very interesting thing that what have all world champions but didn't have Steinitz and Fischer only. Somebody knows or not? Or probably question is not correct. Okay, I will give a direct question. Against whom was played? Okay, I will try as concrete as possible. So, against whom never played Fischer and Steinitz, both, but was played all of other official was world champions. Somebody knows? No. Official. So Steinitz, we are considered first world champion, second one Lasker, third one Capablanca, and till Kasparov and after. If somebody knows, against whom never played both. Against whom never played both. Steinitz didn't play it, Fischer didn't play as well, but other world champions played. All other world champions played. Okay, Morphy. Okay, so Karpov played against Morphy? Of course not. Okay, Tal never played against Ivanchuk. No, not Ivanchuk. No. Okay, so Lasker didn't play against Korchnoi. No. Karpov didn't play against Botvinnik. No, it's you are very far from correct answer. Fischer played against Botvinnik, yes. Chess Olympiad, okay, Fischer played Chess Olympiad, so. Lasker, maybe not. Lasker, maybe not. No, against whom never played Fischer and Steinitz both. Lasker already played, Capablanca played. It's not just one person, it's something more than one person. Okay, probably because my bad English, I complete question in incorrect form. So I will repeat. So against whom never played and whom it's plural. It's not a one. It's plural. Correct answer is plural form. So against whom never played both Fischer and Steinitz, but played all of other official world champions. Against Russians, okay. So Fischer played against Russia. Against women, exactly. Against women, both never played against women. So Steinitz didn't play because in that time women didn't play yet. So Lasker already played against Vera Menchik and Capablanca as well. And but surprisingly, Fischer didn't play. Okay, Fischer. I mean official tournament games. Okay, Fischer could play Blitz against Judith, but it wasn't tournament games. I mean official tournament games. In Simul, probably. Yes, Fischer never played in Steinitz. Okay, so let's come back. So we see that after excellent move rook a7, Anderssen is in big trouble. So he played king h2, prophylactic move, f4, bishop d2, g5. So Steinitz started very standard King's Indian attack, queen c4. Played Anderssen. Okay, it's a difficult position for white because g4 is threat somewhere, and there is no reasonable plan for white because knight b5 not possible. Again, because same reason. That is this knight c7. So it's bad. So queen c4 played, queen d8. He utilizing no, bishop e6 was possible, but knight d5 or queen b5, so at least black cannot trap queen immediately. So queen d8 is very logical because black attacking rook b6 and improve queen. But okay, so this is moment strange for me because rook b1, what is this? So, okay, rook is attacked, but the most natural way to defend the rook is knight d5. So it's question why Anderssen didn't play this. Okay, anyway, position looks like bad for white. For example, h5 is possible and g4 is coming. And so difficult to suggest something acceptable for white. Yes, black pieces defending and attacking same time. So please compare this game with games from match Fischer-Taimanov where Fischer was black, in King's Indian, I mean. Okay, d4 is possible, but this is sacrifice of pawn and black is obviously bad. Okay, probably d4 is the best chance here, but objectively white is bad. So rook b1 played, strange move. Knight f6 played Steinitz. Okay, so modern players, I think, would play h5 here. So looks very natural, at least. Probably now I'm trying to understand. Probably idea of Anderssen was to prepare rook h1, and so this was probably point of rook b1, and at least not lost immediately. But okay, position of course is bad for white because no coordination between pieces after knight c7, for example. This idea bishop e6. Okay, so h5 was very good move, but knight f6 played Steinitz, so he is not hurry. King g1, knight h7. So Steinitz is playing slow. Why Kramnik so good versus King's Indian is okay. Why Kramnik? Okay, he is good player at all. So okay, in some period he had new ideas in bayonet attack and also in Petrosian system. So yes, he is playing good, but sometimes he played successfully King's Indian with black too. I remember his game against Mayer. He won. I don't. Probably it wasn't Mayer, but I remember it was important novelty in this period. I will show you what I mean, because difficult to explain without the board. So it was line bishop e3, c6, castle, this, rook e8, f3, d5, takes, rook c1. So queen b3, knight c6 is theory, and black is fine in this line. Idea if queen takes d5, bishop e6 is coming. So this is fine for black. But opponent of Kramnik played rook c1 with idea if d takes e4, bishop c4. And Kramnik played a5. It was Gustafsson, sorry, not Mayer, but Gustafsson. So a5. So it was interesting novelty in that period. Okay, let's come back. So we are here. 5. King g1, knight h7. King f1 played Anderssen. What can I say? So knight b5 is possible, but after knight b5, rook b7 looks like. Yes. Do you mean if you play King's Gambit or if it's played against you? No, we are speaking about King's Indian, not about King's Gambit. So somebody asked why. Yes, knight b5 was possible, rook b7, queen takes a4, but probably Anderssen afraid that h5 is coming and then g4 is coming and black has strong attack while white is under unpleasant pin. So I'm not sure that was the best solution, knight b5 and queen takes a4. But okay, let me think. Queen d5, by the way, seems me interesting. No, for today I will just analyze two final games of this match. I have no time to do something else for today, but I can do it in another day. So, in my opinion, Queen d5 looks interesting choice because very concrete move now. D6 pawn is attacked and black needs to defend, but how? So Queen d5 certainly I like. No, I didn't analyze before. Bishop e8 and bishop a5. Okay, bishop e8 is possible, but but now I have knight b5, and now black has no rook b7 anymore. And his knight not on e8, so there is no idea bishop takes b5 and knight c7 as before. Okay, about my games. Okay, so for today, yeah, so Queen d5 looks like very interesting, and so now h5 certainly was stronger than knight f6, and strange maneuver, knight f6, knight h7, and now after Queen d5, I think white is quite good because pawn d6 is attacked and white has other ideas. Depends what black will do. So if bishop e8, knight b5 is good. If, for example, rook f6, okay, I can play. Also knight b5 is possible. Yes, important that I don't allow rook b7. Bishop e8 there is proposition. Knight b5, rook d7, but okay, if I will just take the pawn, and rook e8 is coming, so... Okay, white is pawn up, and rook a8 is coming. No, it doesn't look like. h5, rook a8. So. Okay, black has some ideas, of course, but queen e7 maybe, and okay, now g4 is prepared. Of course, yes, it's not easy for white, but probably I can do something. For example, knight a7 is possible. If g4, knight c6. Sorry, knight a7, rook takes a7. Sorry. Knight a7 not possible. Rook a6 also possible. Yes, maybe it's even instead of... but rook a6, g4. Okay, rook a8 I like, queen e7. So, unfortunately, knight a7 not possible. Okay, yes, here black has attack, so g4 is coming. Knight h2 is possible, but after knight h2, g4, if takes knight f6, and then h takes g4, and situation still dangerous for white. Not totally clear, but dangerous. Yes, but white can try to advance pawn, but black has very strong threats. So, but anyway, queen d5. Okay, so bishop e8. So knight b5 was my proposition. Probably I can do something. Okay, knight b5 looks like the most logical. Rook d7. So rook takes a4 looks like correct, but also okay, I'm thinking about this king e2, g4, this knight e1, this idea king d1. Dangerous for white also. Okay, so rook takes a4 looks like correct, h5, and what to do? Bishop f7, queen c6. It's not so strong in my opinion. Bishop f7 is possible, but after queen c6 I don't see special achievements for black. So h5 is better. Now, yes, probably knight h2 is the best, but the situation still. Yes, under control, but you mean to play h5? Okay, but now even rook a8 is possible, and queen takes d7. So a7 square, it's not totally under control. So okay, this is critical position, I think. And what to do for white? Okay, maybe h4, maybe it's crazy, but it's possible to consider. My idea of g4, knight g5. Or also rook a8, maybe it start. It's maybe even more precise, and now h4. My idea if g4, knight g5. Something like this. If g takes h4, I have solid knight on f3. So after g takes h4, I can consider something like king f1, something like this. Okay, it's a very complicated game. So anyway, queen d5 was probably the strongest in this position. King f1 played h5, so attack is started, and now black is better. Bishop f7, okay, where after h4, my proposition was rook a8, queen e7, h4. Bishop f7, okay, I will take on f8 and queen c6. If g4, knight g5, okay, it's double-edged position. Both has his trumps. After g4, knight g5. Knight c3 proposition. Sorry. Rook a8, queen e7, knight c3, but okay, g4 is already coming, so it's rook b8, it's not threat because bishop is protected. No, so h4 probably is the best idea. But okay, so king f1, played Anderssen, and now after h5, finally Steinitz played h5, and it's clear that black has very strong initiative here, but situation situation is dangerous already for white. Maybe king e2 was the best, something like this to try. Queen h4, f3 to prepare king d1, but knight g5. Okay, it's unpleasant position, surely unpleasant. G takes h4. Yes, but there are no direct threats at the moment. White can do something. What exactly? Okay, maybe king f1. h3. Okay. And after knight f6, okay, I can go queen c4, but maybe even queen c6 is possible as well, because after rook d8, I have queen c7. Oh, this, okay, I don't know. Okay, it's quite complicated, but okay, maybe this line is bad, because black can take, and play bishop a4. Knight is attacked. If knight moves, bishop takes c2, bishop takes d3. So queen c6 is bad move. But okay, so queen c4 is better. Or queen b3. I don't know. Maybe even queen b3. With the idea of bishop f7, take and play c4. No, rook a7, not rook takes a7. Oh, queen c6, rook d8, strong. Okay, but anyway, it was a best try for white, because after passive move h5, so started standard King's Indian attack started, and white has no contraplay, so situation is bad for white. Knight g1, g4, takes f3, okay, queen h4. For black, it's very easy to play. Okay, it's very easy if compare with time today, because this move are standard. For that time, it wasn't such standard. Knight d1, so white. Anderssen is trying to defend. Queen h7. d4. Okay, d4 is desperation, but okay, so very difficult to play under such a strong attack. Without any contraplay. So d4 he gave a pawn, so this knight h3. So Steinitz even doesn't want to take, although it was possible to take the pawn. E takes d4, c takes d4. So knight h3, he wants to attack. Bishop f2 takes, d takes c5. Okay, it's desperation, but situation looks like totally hopeless for black. And queen h3 check, very technical, because take the knight, black has idea bishop f6 and rook g8. So it's totally hopeless for white. So king e1, but now black is piece up and rook up. Okay, so rest is... Okay, so Steinitz outplayed his opponent in King's Indian style, which surely wasn't typical for this time. Okay, so last game. Okay, what I can explain is that they played till 8 victories, so it wasn't just 14 games match, which means that draw was enough for Steinitz to win this match. So it wasn't enough. So 6-7. and Steinitz white, Anderssen black. So e4, e5, f4, king's gambit. And in all games before, Adolf Anderssen took the pawn, and after knight f3 he played g5, but Steinitz was quite successful after bishop c4, g4, knight e5. This line is dubious according to modern theory, but Anderssen didn't know how to react in the best way. Okay, so he decided to play declined king's gambit. So he, for my preparation, in very small portion only. Okay, knight f3, d6, bishop c4. Another possible move, c3 or knight c3. For example, c3. Bishop b6 is possible with idea this bishop g4, and black has strong counterplay. So bishop c4, knight f6, d3, castle, queen e2. Queen e2 looks a little bit strange if at least from point of modern theory. So knight c3 is the main move. Natural developing move with idea knight a4 somewhere to consider. If knight c6, knight a4 is possible. f5 is also possible to prepare bishop g5, but queen e2 looks strange, for me at least. Strange move. Bishop g4. It's possible, but probably black has something more interesting. For example, knight c6 looks very logical. Just developing move and to prepare knight d4. Also, maybe black can play just take, and after bishop f4 to play d5 and try to utilize e takes d5, rook e8. So this looks like pretty dangerous for white. For example, bishop e5, knight d7. If d4, bishop takes d4 is coming. So after e takes e4 looks like black is better here, because white has okay, knight c3 maybe it's possible, so not take immediately to prevent the idea d5, but okay, for example, knight c6, bishop f4, if bishop g4 now, castle, if knight d4, queen f1, this is playable position. Although I like black after c6, for example. So, okay, but bishop g4 played Steinitz. It wasn't necessary move. Knight c6, if not take immediately on f4, so knight c6 was logical. And now if f takes, black can consider possibility to take with knight and then to prepare c6. So black has no problem at all. If other move, black has many ideas. E takes f4 and d5, also knight d4, bishop g4, if f5, d5, of course. So, okay, queen e2 is not a good. c3 on the sixth move? If play c3, only good moment in move 4. So now only resolvable move for white is knight c3, in my opinion. Idea, and after knight c6, f5 is possible to prepare bishop g5. Knight c3, it's not only for develop the piece, but to prevent d5. Immediately f5, d5 is good for black. So knight c3 surely was correct move. Queen e2 is okay, maybe bad, maybe dubious move at least. But okay, bishop g4 was played, maybe not the best. So I would prefer e takes f4 or knight c6, but certainly it's playable. Bishop e3. 3 . Which books? Okay, depends of topic. If you're asking about books, opening books, so I would recommend books which was written by Boris Avruch, for example. Also books of Mihai Marin, also Ivan Sokolov, Viktor Moskalenko, if books about opening, if about some tournaments, it's different story. Okay, so bishop e3. Okay, white plan is more or less obvious. So Steinitz wants to exchange bishop and then to play knight bd2 and long castle or short castle, depends of situation. Knight bd7 logical, knight bd2, c6 logical. But okay, so maybe black can try something more concrete. No, let's see it. I mean, something like bishop f3, queen takes f3, bishop takes e3, and knight g4. But okay, queen g3. So it's black. I'm not ready for attack if queen g5, knight c3 is coming. So okay, so knight d7, normal move. Knight d2. Again, so we can see Steinitz preference. So he likes to have knight on e7 more with black, more than knight on f6, and also knight on e2 with white, more than knight on f3, and knight on d2 more than knight on c3. Not always, of course. Queen d4 after queen g3. Queen d4, okay, queen d4. If c3, queen e3, it's possible. And after this, three threats, knight takes c4, knight c2, and knight takes g2. So knight a3 is possible, knight g2, king d2 with some compensation. Okay, but probably knight c3, it's... but anyway, queen e3. To be tricky, takes. Yes, so maybe it was because if pawn takes, black can take and knight h5, and white has problem with f4 square. So queen f3 is this knight g4. Yes, probably. Queen f2 instead of knight bd2. Okay, so yes, so probably this could create way was possible. Not so obvious, but possible. Black has... but maybe queen f3, it's more precise. Yes, queen f3. Because queen h4, g3, knight takes h... yes. Knight takes h2, queen g2. Probably queen f3 is more precise for white. Queen g5 also. With idea knight e3. What was idea? So queen d4 is proposition. Queen g2, queen takes b2. It looks like bad for white. For black, so castle. This, yes, rook takes f7. Yes, white is just winning. But okay, after queen after queen f3, queen g5. After... yes, queen. Yes, queen takes g4 simply. Yes. and castle and rook takes f7. So I just didn't see that knight is attacked. So strange. So this attack was not prepared, and also was questioned when is better to develop knight on c3 when better on d2. Okay, in this position, if knight on c3, it's not active because after c6, white has no big knight has no big perspectives, only knight d1, knight e3 in some moment. So in this position, if tactically it works, it's better to develop knight on d2. And important then that any tactic doesn't work. So bishop e3, it's a healthy positional move, and so in this pawn structure, I lost the game against Indian player Adhiban with black. So I recommend to see if somebody didn't see. So I was black, Adhiban with white. Yes, knight c3, e2 is possible, yes. Or knight d1, e3. Okay, so it's flexible question. Okay, knight d7, knight d2, c6. Natural move, black is preparing b5. So bishop b2, b3. Very prophylactic move. Of course, was possible h3 to play. It's very natural, but he played prophylactic move. So bishop b3, b5. Crazy. Okay, he's strong attacker. I don't know who is normal. So because of this, I cannot declare that Adhiban is crazy. Okay, so short castle played Steinitz. No, at the moment c6 pawn is not weak because nobody can attack this pawn. So short castle. Another possible plan was h3 and then exchange bishop. If bishop e6 is good structure for white, after bishop h5 g4. So personally, I would play h3 probably. I don't know why Steinitz didn't play. Probably he afraid something like this. Like, who knows? But okay, it's not really bad for white. Even many moves is possible. Even rook g1 is possible. Maybe it's not the best, but so h3 was this move which I like. But okay, so Steinitz played castle. Okay, h4 not in this position because g4 square will be very strong for black. So after castle, queen b6 played Anderssen. Totally normal move. Another logical move seems me queen e7 to prepare bishop e6 after h3. Okay, but queen b6 is concrete. Bishop takes c5 immediately. Rook e1 was alternative. If a5, a3, totally playable position for both. Bishop takes c5, knight takes c5, king h1, queen f2 is your proposition. Okay, queen f2 in this moment looks dubious because black can take. Knight takes f3 doesn't work because knight g4. So if pawn takes, knight h5 and knight f4 is coming. Okay, king h1 is good move, natural and good. Rook a e8, normal move, queen f2. If Morphy would beat Steinitz, okay, depends in which time, but objectively I don't think that Morphy was stronger than Steinitz. At least already in 1866 Morphy didn't play anymore, but for example, if image that organized in this time Steinitz against former morphine, against morphine, his best period, I think, okay, surely it would be a big fight, but in my opinion, Steinitz would have a little bit better chances. But okay, of course, I can tell anything because not possible to check. Okay, c3, d4 is problematic because d3 pawn is hanging. And now a5, it's quite strange move, in my opinion, played Adolf. Because, okay, what we have in this moment for black is good that the queen on b6 is protected, so white has no any tactical motives. If after a5 black queen is not protected anymore and black cannot take on b3 or to play any move with his knight from c5. So because of this, I certainly don't like move a5. I will put, okay, by emotion, I want to put question mark, but okay, I will put this mark. So, what to do? Okay, for example, it looks like white is planning attack in king's flank. So knight h1, knight f5 possible in future. So what is logical? Okay, maybe bishop e6 is logical move. Of course, white cannot take on e5 because I will take and then take. So knight takes e5 is not possible. So, but bishop takes e6 maybe. If rook takes e6, knight h4. This idea to prepare knight f5. But also black can stop this idea with g6. So bishop e6 is a normal move, in my opinion. A question if I play, if you play in Olympiad, unclear because at the moment not clear that the team of Ukraine will go to this Olympiad. About e4, e5, okay, so everywhere there are many variations, so there is no opening where you don't need to have a lot of knowledge, especially if you are playing against strong opponents. Okay, so bishop e6 was logical. Maybe knight fd7 was logical as well. Idea to exchange somewhere, knight takes b3 and play f6 and defend firmly. Pawn e5, especially if rook will go, so black can just take and play f6. It's possible. Or even, okay, maybe f6. Queen g3, okay, bishop e6, knight h4, okay, king h8, something like this. If knight f5, g6. Somewhere black has contraplay with queen c5, also probably now queen c5. Knight d7, knight g5. What is this? Okay, so black has many moves. Knight d7, knight g5. No, but knight g5 is just wasting of time. I will take and then f6, and knight just will go back. So knight g5. At the moment it's not a good idea. Rook f5. How rook f5? A takes b3, f6. Okay, so a5 strange move, because now queen is pretty hanging, and a4 immediately. Now, very concrete decision. Of course, a3 was totally possible, but a4. So Steinitz played playing aggressively. So he allows b takes a4. And probably he calculated that after bishop takes a4, knight takes a4, rook takes a4, queen takes b2, knight c4 is coming, and then white will take pawn a5 is excellent position. If a3 threatening bishop f7, no, bishop f7 it's not threat because black just will take, and after b4 they have knight a4 or knight cd7. Okay, so a4. So b5 pawn is very important for black to control c4 square. Okay, Steinitz, Anderssen played h6. I don't know if it's correct decision. Probably anyway bishop e6 was better. But now after bishop e6, knight g5 is unpleasant. This is problem with hanging queen. So after this, so knight takes a4 only move. This, and this endgame looks like better for white, although probably nothing special. If, for example, knight takes a5, rook c8, if rook takes a5, knight a4 is coming, black has some contraplay, so probably it's not so clear. So bishop e6 was logical, more or less. Also, probably knight d7 is logical with idea to protect the queen. But maybe Anderssen was afraid takes, and bishop d5, and then white will try to prepare attack. But okay, it's not clear position at all after simple bishop e6. Organize attack in King's Flan, it's not easy, and important for black that queen is protected, so knight b3, always knight takes b3 is possible. So knight takes knight f d7, this is move which I like in this position. And probably black is not worse here. h6 is very strange move, because knight g5 is not real threat, and if imagine that in future knight h4, knight f5 will come, so h6 will be clear weakness. And also white has motive knight h4, knight g6 somewhere. And okay, Steinitz immediately played knight h4. So not only knight f5 is prepared, but also knight g6 is the moment direct threat. Sorry. Is it problem with connection? Is it okay? Everybody can hear me? Is it okay now? Because it was something like, yes, okay. So knight h4, I just explained that knight g6, there is a direct threat at the moment. For example, if black is playing something, for example, bishop c8, knight g6 is very strong. If knight g4, queen g1. Okay, also bishop f7 is possible. Okay, so, and positionally, if knight will come to f5, black will have a problem, because never possible to play h6 with pawn, never possible to play g6 with pawn on h6, so knight h4. B takes a4 played Anderssen, looks like positional desperation, because now white have c4 square for his knight. But what to do? So probably I'm not sure that black has good. So h6 certainly it's very bad move. So h6 is very bad move. Knight h4, it's natural. King h8. King h8 probably was the best in this position, but anyway, it looks unpleasant. For example, queen e3 is possible with threat rook takes f6, and what to do. Knight c d7 not possible because black losing the pawn. So king h8, maybe king h7 is, but after king h, okay, maybe king h7 is more precise, by the way. At least now after queen e3, rook takes f6 is not direct threat because pawn h6 is protected. So maybe king h7. But okay, now queen g3 and then knight f5 is coming. Okay, queen g3, knight takes b3. So okay, bad position. Even knight f5 here. Okay, knight f5, bishop f5, queen takes f5, king h8. So probably king h7 was the best. King h7 instead of h6? No, because knight g5 will... Okay, but knight fd7 or bishop e6, I explained it, it was good moves. A5, not sure, but even here after knight fd7, okay, I don't see anything terrible for black in this position. So, okay, maybe white is slightly better, but not more. But okay, h6 looks like bad move, and after knight h4, it's already really very quick analysis. Okay, knight h4. So b takes a4, it's a great concession, but okay, maybe bishop e6 still was the best idea here. Yes. And now, okay, bishop takes e6, rook takes e6, knight f5. Take with pawn, knight g6 is coming. Also, probably knight takes e4. Okay, so it's possible. Knight f5, I want just some problem with connection. Sorry. Some problem with internet. Is it okay now? Because was some problem with internet or with my computer. All good, but for me not good. Something like so in my computer probably some problem. So I cannot make moves. For me not works. Now it's, I hope it will be okay now. So bishop e6 was my yeah. Okay, so I will try to make a break and to improve somehow because something bad. So just a moment. It's pity. Okay. So I will take a break. But for me not fine. Not allow to make moves. So I will. I'm waiting. Will be okay. I will take break and try to improve. Yes, I need to refresh it, but some problem at the moment. So when there is some round near the board, so it's yes. And now I making break. Refreshing. Just a moment, please. Щось воно було зависло, так крутилося. Тепер, може, я зроблю брейк? Я можу зробити брейк? So I am here again. Is it everybody can hear me, can see me? Please confirm. Is it okay? Good. So probably bishop e6 was the best defensive move, and but okay. So bishop takes a6, and I explained it that if take with pawn, probably knight g6, knight takes e4. It was question. Okay, maybe knight g6 is not necessary, but of course white is better, for example, even after this, because of bad... knight f5 is not so strong, because black can just take, and without this knight, white has no such a serious attack. But bishop a6 is very unpleasant, because if take with pawn, pawn structure is very bad. So knight g6, knight e4 is not necessary after this. I don't like black's position here. So, but if black take with piece, okay, with knight not possible, obviously. With rook, knight f5 is coming, and this position is very it's just bad. Before is proposed. You mean before here? Before. Interesting, but okay. White is not winning immediately, because after knight b3, knight fd7 is possible. But okay, after knight f5, it's just very bad position for black. Queen g3 is threat, so never g6 is possible. So we can see that this position already quite bad for black. Probably king h7 was the best try to defense. Or maybe rook b8 is interesting. Idea to defend the queen. So now after knight g6, I have knight takes b3 or rook takes f8. But now queen g3, it's and rook takes f6 is coming. So bad situation for black. Yes, hello. So now after several bad moves, he is in big troubles. So knight h4, b takes a4, it's great concession. So he played bishop e6 here, but now... Okay, maybe not so bad, but looks bad. He played b3, maybe also bishop b3 was possible. At least looks like very interesting to utilize that black cannot take the bishop with knight. If knight g4, queen g1 simply. But probably Steinitz was afraid some tactical, something like this probably. But not convincing, because bishop takes e6. Okay, probably rook takes e6. If knight c4, knight takes e4, maybe something like this. But c3 is coming. Queen takes b2 in which moment? Queen takes b2. After b takes a4. Okay, white has many moves, so even simply bishop a2 is possible, for example. Knight c4, queen b4, it's not so clear. But bishop a2 was interesting choice. With idea knight g6, with idea knight c4 or queen g3, so white has many ideas. if, for example, bishop e6, white can take on e6 and then play knight c4. So bishop a2 was interesting, but okay, bishop takes a4 was direct move. So bishop b3 was interesting. So knight g4, okay, if not knight g4, white has good prospects. So white wants to take on e6 and then to play knight c4. It's big positional advantage. So knight g4. Queen, no, after bishop a2, not possible to take on b2 because queen takes c5. So it's not possible. Okay, so bishop a4, bishop e6, so now bishop b3, so this line looks like promising for white, but okay, we need to calculate tactic. Positionally white is much better, but tactically we need to calculate. So takes, rook takes, but if pawn takes knight f3, it's black has no contraplay and pawn structure is terrible. So rook takes, okay, knight c4. If even this is possible, and white is much better because only pawn structure. Queen g1, queen d8. Queen d8. Very creative move, but okay, so I will. I can just take here. If queen takes h4, knight f3 is coming. If bishop takes b3, I will take and play h3, and black has no serial threats. Rook f3 will come in, and black will lost pawn on a5. Bad situation for black. So bishop b3 was possible, but Steinitz played b3. It's a little bit strange move because now bishop a4 is a little bit out of play. Knight g4 played Adolf. I'm not so sure. In my opinion, much more logical was to play knight d7 to defend knight. And now if, for example, knight c4 in some moment, black not necessary to take on c4, totally possible to play queen c7. And, okay, it's unclear position. Knight g4, it's... okay, maybe also possible. Queen g1, queen d8, now queen d8. Now, after queen g1, queen d8, what? Okay, queen g1 played Steinitz. Why queen g1? Queen g3, probably he was afraid. Early comment. Queen d8, yes. Queen d8, I already... Yes, so knight g4 he played. Queen g3 was possible, but maybe knight takes a4 was idea. If rook takes a4, knight e3, and white has some problem with c2 pawn. But okay, rook c1 is possible, but rook c1, knight g4. Okay, maybe rook c1 is possible. Knight takes c2 doesn't work because rook takes c2 if this rook b2. So after rook c1, black should play something else. But objectively, white is ready for queen f2. So if knight g4, h3, white can calmly play it. So white is better here. So queen g3 was possible. Queen g1 plays Wilhelm. Queen b4. Queen b5 after rook b2. Yes, but black is piece down. So, for example, this. If a4, knight f5, it's like winning for white. Okay, so queen b4. Now knight is not protected, so black has no possibility to play queen c7. So, but after queen b4, c6 pawn is not protected. So, for coordination between piece, surely after b3, knight fd7 was better. Knight fd7, and this position not clear because only with knight on f5 white cannot organize strong attack. For example, after knight f5, king h7 is possible to prepare g6. Okay, queen h4. Anyway, it's more pleasant for white. And rook f3, it's plan. It's better for white, yes, because black has too many weaknesses and white pieces are active. But queen b4 probably, so still some play. But knight g4, it's important that I have feelings that coordination of pieces Steinitz felt better than Anderssen. This is very important in this match. Knight f3, so no knight f5. He just came back with knight, defend everything, and black has permanent problem with weak pawns. a5, c6, and e5. h3 somewhere threat, and then take on e5. So black has trouble. Probably queen c3 was possible. Try somehow at least to attack c2 pawn. Although queen takes c2 is not threat, but okay, maybe knight takes a4 and queen takes c3. So of course, white can play something like rook fc1, for example, but at least black can try to organize something. I don't know what exactly. For example, after rook fc1, who knows? I have feelings that white is better, but okay, probably. Maybe even rook c8 just defends the pawn. So it's still a lot of play. How? Okay, it's how strong elo. Okay, some if compare with modern theory, okay, opening somewhere was wired if compared with modern theory, but if not attract attention to opening, I think about 2650 level they demonstrated, not less. About 2650. Yes, well, it was Steinitz won the match because of winning two last games in with score 6-6 before, so this match can be considered like more or less equal fight. So I cannot tell that. Okay, Steinitz won, but I have no feeling that his level was really much better than Anderssen. Okay, it was more or less equal fight, and finally, no. 2650, not 2450. So, strong. Yes, 2650. Okay, but he played bishop d7, okay, bishop d7, so big positional problem because now white has c4 square under control. So queen c3 was certainly best choice. It seems for me. But okay, maybe also bishop takes c6 is possible, and after rook c8, calmly bishop b5, and if black cannot take on c2, black cannot take because rook c1 is coming and rook takes c5. So if black cannot take on c2, where is contraplay? So black is pawn down and h3 is threat in some moments. So So probably already very bad position. So Steinitz better played not just defended moves, but coordinated moves. I mean, Rook a7 in previous game, excellent move. And now knight h4, f3. So before he planned knight h4, knight f5, but situation was changed and he played knight f3, defended all of his weakness, and now he is ready to attack. Like in previous game, after rook a7, he stopped white's threats in queen's wing, and he was ready for attacking king's side. So this was very important part of Steinitz. And in this part, he was strong as an Anderssen. So bishop d7 he played. So maybe rook c8 was possible. But rook c8, no. Maybe rook c8 was possible. Because h3, knight f6, knight takes e5 doesn't work. Idea if queen d2, queen takes c5, because black can just take here. And after rook a4, queen d2. So probably rook c8 was the best opportunity for black. Not allow knight c4 without fight. But maybe c3 it's unpleasant also. For example, h3, white can start. Knight f6 and now c3. Idea if queen takes c3, rook c1. Rook this c1. Black losing some material. Knight a4 is only resolvable, but okay, this is knight takes e5, white should be with it. So c3, queen b6 can be considered, but now knight takes e5 and white has quite healthy pawn. Knight a4, rook a4, so it's already bad situation. So knight f3, it's very good move, and after this white is clearly better. So bishop d7, knight c4, so there's this, queen c3, h3. So now it's obvious that things are really bad for black, because white can defend c2 pawn and black pawns are attacked. Rook c1 played Steinitz, but I don't understand this moment. It seems now I understand. I had illusions that knight takes e5 is possible, and after rook takes e5, rook c4. And if queen b2, rook b1. But the problem is that black can take on c2, and this situation is not so clear. So Steinitz practically just defend weak pawn, and black has two weaknesses, and fantastic square for knight on c4, of course. So rook c1, very calm and good move. So knight h5 played Steinitz. And now, but now, knight d6 was okay. Knight d6 at least not practical decision, because necessary to calculate queen takes c2, and white is winning exchange, but black has pawn, and b3, d3 is attacked, so knight d6 it's not practical decision. So I like rook c1. Also, probably queen f2 was even better, so rook is not so bad on f1. Somewhere it can be useful for attack. So, and somewhere queen d2 is... So queen f2 probably was even stronger. But okay, he played rook c1, knight h5, and queen e1. So very practical choice. Of course, maybe it's not only solution. White has very good position. Even this is possible to consider here. Again, same idea. If rook takes, rook c4. So queen is attacked. If queen b2, rook b1, and then knight takes e5. So what else? Knight g3 is possible to consider, but okay, king h2, and knight e2 not helps to black because for many reasons. The simplest reason is queen e1, and white is totally winning. So knight takes e5 was possible and very strong, of course, but queen e1 I like queen e1 because this is very practical solution. So white don't need to calculate any variation. So they exchanging queens and then starting to win. Yes. But objectively, knight takes e5 probably was more quick way to win. So pleasant choice, queen e1. So queen takes, rook takes e1. So black is totally outplayed. So f6, sorry. Something wrong with my computer. f6, rook a5, so white has pawn up and better position. So bishop e6. Rook e6 he played. Okay, bishop e6 was possible, but of course doesn't help. So white can play many moves. Knight e3 probably is the simplest. Knight takes e5, no. Here knight takes e5, no reason for white. And surely Anderssen would not play such a stupid move. Okay, so rook e6, d4. Okay, so d4 is not necessary. White can do any move. For example, king g1 to prepare king f2 looks like good idea. But okay, so d4, concrete move. Utilize bad knight, pseudo-active knight on h5 because black cannot take now the pawn on d4, so white is winning another pawn. And so I am surprised that the game was so long. Yes, rook a1, rook a7, so white can do so. Okay, objectively, black can resign about here, but okay. So 2 pawns up and much better position. So knight takes e8, rook takes c6. Of course, it's not only way. Probably not the most technical. Okay, so rook takes e5. It looks like very simple, but okay, so now knight takes c6 was knight takes c6, rook e6. It's not so clear. Rook c8, knight e7, but rook e6 is possible, and rook takes e5, rook c6, and rook c2. Black has some chances to survive. So rook takes c6, rook c8, knight f3. Now it's not obvious that position. Of course, in this period, Steinitz played at least not accurate. And for example, now if black plays knight f4, I cannot assert that white is winning here. Okay, in the first view, black has quite a good chances to survive. So okay, where was mistakes? I will try to. So here it's totally winning position. Okay, so now, okay, probably knight f5, for example, excellent possibility. If rook e6, rook a7, idea to prepare g4. Okay, so, but he played rook c5, rook c7. Okay, so now every move is winning. Okay, so rook takes e5, no problem at all. So yes, so knight takes e8 probably. It's, okay, knight takes e8, rook e8, and now was a technical move knight f3. This looks like pretty hopeless for black. Is e6 instead of rook c5? Maybe. So Yes, e6. Okay, e6, knight f4, so maybe not so easy. But e5 is coming. Okay, e6 winning move, but okay, rook c5 is normal, so even this, but now rook takes c6, very dubious move, because now he is losing c2 pawn. So knight f3 was very good move, and black cannot defend pawn e5, and then he cannot take on c2. So rook takes c6, and now suddenly after rook c8, situation is not, probably he missed rook c8, I don't know, or just relaxed, probably he had illusions that the game is finished, but now okay, so it starts again, because knight f3, and now rook c3, very strange move, so knight f4, very natural. I don't know why Anderssen didn't play knight f4, so natural move, and it looks like black has very serious chances to survive here. So, but rook c3, very strange move, because rook was very good on c2. Knight f4, rook b1, it's possible, but is it convincing? Okay, maybe. But we'll see. Okay, if I take with rook f1 is possible, because if before rook g5, it's not clear, and then rook b5, but probably rook f1 is possible. But okay, rook g5. What is my problem? So rook endgame. So after knight f4, it's for me it's big question that position is really winning for white. So. But rook c3, okay. So if rook b1, he has idea knight g3. After rook takes g2, knight d3. Okay, so the most difficult in chess to see moves with knight back. So yes, knight d3 is winning. So you are right. So knight, thank you. Again, I will be more careful with move of knight. So rook b1 is proposition. Okay. But let's check. So knight takes g2. More or less forced, and b4. So this is okay, maybe this is winning, because rook e2, b5, and rook takes e4, b6, rook takes e5, b7, and white is winning. So yes, probably white is still winning. Important that knight on e5. Black has no counterplay with knight h4, knight f3. Knight f4, knight h3, knight f2, looks like losing. Before knight takes g2, yes, rook b1 probably is the best, and probably white is winning. Yes, but very important trick, rook takes g2, knight d3. Rook e2 is possible, but okay, b4, rook takes e4, knight somewhere, so it should be winning. Knight c6 and b5, b6. Okay, knight d5, b5, knight b6. Okay, still some play, yes, but very difficult endgame. Okay, anyway, knight f4 was the best chance, but probably white can win it anyway. After rook b1, so rook b1 is certainly the best. Okay, but rook c3, it's very strange. b4, also possible was rook b1 maybe. If knight g3, king h2, and play b4, but knight d6. Black still fighting. If b5, rook c5 is coming. Rook d1. Excellent winning chances. Knight c4 is not possible because geometric motif. Okay, but b4 is logical. Rook b3, knight c6, so white 2 pawns up. Black has no contraplay, so knight f4, e5. Of course, other moves was possible as well, but e5 looks natural. Knight d3. It's important that king f7, king f7 was possible because e6, knight takes e6. After rook takes e6, rook b1 check. So probably king is, but white can start with rook f1. It's important. Rook b1, rook a2, in which moment? Rook b1, rook a2. After knight f4 you mean? Here rook e2. Yes, rook e2 is possible. I explained it before, yes. Okay, so this I explained it already. So, okay, let's come back. So, yeah. Yes. So knight d3 he played. He lost. He didn't lost pawn. Okay. Okay, so king f7, rook f1. It's a clear way to win because now g5 is only move and white has a6. Important trick. So if takes knight d4, if king e8. Maybe just e7. It's enough. Knight e6. Here knight e6. It's okay, it's possible, but rook d1, rook d6 is coming. So it's hard to believe that black can fight in this position. So knight d3 he played, rook a1. Rook f1 was more technical, not allow king f7. Because now, okay, king f7 anyway, e6. So knight takes b4 is more or less forced. And this. And this is winning, of course. Rook b6. Knight f6 he's playing. King f4. So rook takes f6, always necessary to check, but probably it's too early. So king f4. So somewhere rook f6 and king f5 can be winnings. But okay, white has other ideas as well. Knight e7. Okay, after knight f6, even more simple immediately. No. It's not fortress, it's totally losing position. h4. Okay, white has many ways. Black cannot survive here. Okay, black can survive. For example, if image where can be fortress, I can show. For example, if white plays not accurately, and somewhere, for example, h4, or if, for example, image this position, okay, it's just cooperative moves, and here this is draw. That's right. It's not possible to win, but okay, this is black can only dream for this. White Steinitz doesn't want to exchange pawns. h5. So He is pressing and situation hopeless. Knight f8 is possible, but rook e7 and then king f4 is coming. So knight h8. Okay. King f5, so no chances. Rook c7. So, something like Zugzwang, because if king f8, white has easy win. Rook g8. So knight g5, but big surprise that so doesn't win immediately. So Anderssen doing everything what he can, but unfortunately he cannot do a lot in this position. King d6, king f5, knight h, not yet. Rook e7, knight d5, rook e6. So now, okay, probably king g8 was the best chance, but anyway, of course, even this idea is possible. No. I wanted to play this and king d5, but it doesn't work because king f7 and here f5 and g takes king f6. So king g8 probably was better. Knight f6. Okay, knight f. Okay, so king f5. Yes, so it's more or less this. Okay, after king g8. Okay, probably rook d6 is the most simple. Because now if knight e3, king g6, so if other move, king e6, easy one. Rook takes h6 in which moment? Not now. Okay, rook d6 is easy win. Okay, sorry. So not king e4, but rook d6. Okay, so this is also possible, and now rook d6. So black is totally hopeless. And now black lost coordination between knight and king, so white can just try to trap his knight. King f7 also. Another target, g7 square, rook e8. So black is in Zugzwang, so knight f4. Anderssen is fighting incredibly till the end, so if rook g8, he has knight e6 idea here. But nothing can help him because white is too much winning. King f8, king d5. Okay, probably king h8 was more some. Of course, white could win more easily. Somehow, I think was possible just to trap the knight. For example, to play knight king e4 and go to. So white has excellent chances just to trap his knight. Also, very simple win, I think, was. Okay, g5 maybe not so. I wanted g5 and king takes g5, but here knight b4. Okay, so g5 is not technical at least. So king e4 is very technical move, and then try to catch this knight simply. And somewhere white has idea rook there. For example, if knight b8, rook e6. If knight d7, king d5. And black cannot play. knight f6 not possible because this king e6 and king e7 and Zugzwang. But okay, now king g8 is possible so and but king g8 doesn't help because this. If knight f6, I can take and king e6 and king g7, king e7. Is it everybody can hear me well still? So king e4 was the most technical move. Everybody hear me? Well, okay. So king e6 he played, knight b4, king f7 he played. More technical looks rook e3, try to catch his knight, not allow d3 square. Okay, but king f7, knight d3, rook e8 he played. Okay, why not rook e7? So rook e7 looks like more easy because knight f7 is... but this black has... And if king f8, king h8, rook takes g7, knight e6. So white not winning immediately. Of course, position is totally hopeless after, for example, this. Okay, so more or less same like in the game. So king f8 he played. Knight d5. Okay, maybe king h8 is possible. Okay, certainly white is winning, but still some technical difficulties. So knight d5, rook e5, knight f4, king f7, knight h3, rook e3, knight g5, king f8. White can reach this position, and he reached it. Rook e7, knight f2, in which moment? Here. Knight f2, no, knight f2, king f8, simply. So this is winning. So even I'm afraid that okay, of course, king f7, f8 is very simple, but probably even this position is winning. Black to move. For example, knight f6, this, rook g6. And finish. Okay, so knight f4, so we can enjoy how Steinitz realize his advantage. So, and now rook e7 he played. So this position of Zugzwang. So white has no threat, rook takes g7, but black needs to move, and king cannot move, and knight cannot move as well. So because if a knight moves somewhere, rook takes g7. So knight h7 only move, king s7. So very instructive endgame. So, if now knight g5, king g6, and next move will be made. So knight f6, king g6, and this is finish. Knight f6, this is just a joke. King takes f6, stalemate, and king takes h6, knight takes g4. Okay, it's maybe not draw. It's a white win. Okay, king takes h6 was possible because now king g6 and king f6. It's winning and swell, but of course white don't need such things. Rook a7 and knight g8. So this is finish of my report today, and okay, I want just to say thank you for your attention, and thanks for great players which played this incredible fighting match. So, good night, good day, who has a day, or good morning, who has a morning. Bye. Так, закрыть.